Boom, boom, boom.
Chris Simms is the guy you have trust in, but it ain't just rhymes that he's bustin'. Every single year it's imperative that we go ahead and bust your damn narrative.
Oh! B-Rabbit, B-Rabbit. Oh, baby, that's right. Nope, that was not one of your favorite rappers. That was Ahmed Fareed, okay?
I mean, maybe it was.
Yeah, I mean, you know B-Rabbit?
I have no idea.
Are you kidding me?
No idea.
Are you kidding me?
It's a movie, right?
Well, yes, the name of the movie's not B-Rabbit, okay? It's a movie about a rapper. The song won an Oscar.
Eminem?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes, he's B-Rabbit.
And I'm a big Eminem guy.
No, you're not.
I'm not.
You're not. You're not a big Eminem guy. I mean, you grew up in Detroit and you haven't seen 8 Mile?
I have not, no.
What is wrong with you? You're so amazingly awesome in so many ways, and this is just such a bad category for you.
I missed the window. It's like I missed the window for that movie. Like Godfather, I missed the window for that movie, but you brought me back in.
Yeah, thank you.
You made me watch it again.
You seem very happy about that.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that, but I was happy that we were able to bring rapping into the pod.
Me too.
We've rarely done that, if ever. And maybe it will be a normal thing now.
Yeah. No, I hope it's not a normal thing for the sake of our viewers, even though you are very creative with your rhymes.
Yeah.
Don't make me beatbox again. Okay, that's really. I listened to your
you the
words.
option of doing this on the table.
That
would
would have been worse too.
That.
No, negative. Your words were very good and creative. I liked the smooth delivery.
Yeah.
It might have been the beat in the background that was just as bad. And 8 Mile was 2002.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know.
Too long ago. I
guess
missed
so.
it.
I don't know what window you were in at that time. You were in a house with no windows. I don't know where the hell.
I've been secluded. I've been reading books lately. I was telling you about the book today.
Yep.
About how to breathe better.
How to breathe. Yes.
So I'll share info with that.
Interesting.
More useful than me watching.
I don't
8
know
Mile
about
for you.
that.
For you, it might be.
Okay.
But one big thing in our family right now, and your kids are going to school, but they're going in person, right?
They are right now.
So my first grader is online as we speak right now, first day of first grade. And from what I can tell, all the teachers, all the students, all the parents will want to be in person by next week. I don't think this is hard for all the families out there that have young kids that are trying to figure out how to make this work. I don't know if it can work. I don't think it can work.
It's a big stress on the family. I can't even imagine, especially if you have 2 working parents, right?
100%. I don't know how you even do it then.
That's ridiculous. And I know, yes, my wife, she doesn't work. She's full-time, homemaker, cares for me and the kids and all that. And, it was hard on her last year. She's trying to cook the kids breakfast and me breakfast and help them with homework. And then it's okay, she's got a few things to do and there's still homework going on, but yet the kids are yelling, hey, Mom, I want lunch. And it's just it's a lot. It's very stressful on the parents.
The first hour.
I am sending my kids back, though. My little boy wants to go back.
They're going back, yeah. They're all going to want to go back soon.
He wants to go back, so and that's good. Now, he goes to a private school that's really cool, and I think they could pull it up. My little girl goes to a public school. She wants back.
Yeah.
She does not want to do the in-school learning. So they're going to have the proper setup. We'll see how it goes. But
I'm hopeful that we can get everyone back because I swear, the first 30 minutes of the Zoom call was, all right, Billy, you see the blue box? That's unmute. Click it. Nope, didn't get it. All right, Rebecca. Nope, didn't get it.
Oh, my gosh.
Brutal. Almost as brutal as hearing us talk about it for the last 5 minutes. Sorry about that. So
that.
here we go. Okay, we got a good one.
Here we go.
Today, because we got news off the top. We'll talk about the Jaguars, what's going on there.
Sure.
Yannick Ngakoue. You got Leonard Fournette, now a former Jaguar. Like a lot of people, it's a badge of honor in the NFL. It's like you go to college, you play, you become a Jaguar, you become a former Jaguar, and then you go and you play. And then we're going to do, this is a big deal. We got the over-under for win totals in the entire AFC. We're going to go through it. Every team.
Okay.
You're ready for that?
I'm ready for it.
You're prepared for it?
I think so.
Okay. And I'm going to give my pick, too.
Okay.
And we're going to see who's right.
Okay.
We're going to see if, by the end of this year, if
whose
I'm
over-unders are we going from?
So the ones that Pete put in the rundown.
Okay, just Pete putting him in.
Yeah.
Because he didn't go
Pete, where'd you get him from?
That's a sports book.
A sports book. Okay, a sports book.
Okay.
Here.
All right. FanDuel / DraftKings, he said.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
We named them.
Okay, good.
Might have to bleep
All right,
you.
what do you want to start?
So let's start out with the Jacksonville Jaguars news.
Yeah.
So we got Yannick Ngakoue got traded, which was a move that we didn't know that the Jaguars were going to be able to make.
Right.
Now, Yannick Ngakoue is a great player. It seems like a lot of teams would want him, but they wanted a high price. They got it, apparently, for what they were looking for from the Minnesota Vikings. Second-round pick, looks like a conditional fifth-round pick next year, the year
could
after.
be something
that.
better than that.
Who knows exactly?
Yep.
He's got to take a pay cut.
That was one of the
Mike
shockers.
Florio
of this.
thinks that there's a chance that Yannick is going to look at that ultimately and say, no, I don't want that. Actually, I'll go back and play for $17 million with Jacksonville as opposed to $12 million with Minnesota. So that maybe could still happen. But first of all, let's talk about Minnesota.
Yeah.
And if this deal goes through, what they're getting, how much of an upgrade is Yannick Ngakoue?
Well, he's a huge upgrade for them. That's for sure. I mean, again, this is a team that's going to look different on the defensive side of the ball this year. I think that's the first thing you got to kind of take into account. And this is a Mike Zimmer defense. And listen, may it look a little different this year because Dom Capers is there to help out and be one of the defensive assistants. And maybe they're going to throw a little more splash of creativity into it, which is Dom Capers' MO a little. Hey, maybe. So we'll see where it goes. But regardless, what I do know of Mike Zimmer's defense is he's not a heavy blitz type guy. It's about his front four getting there and him dropping 7. Or, hey, we rushed 5 instead of 4, and now we're going to drop 6 and play a creative zone behind it or match up and play some sort of man, whatever that is. But it's hard to play that style when really there's only one marquee defensive lineman on the defensive line. That just doesn't go down. Right. You can't play that style of defense and then go, well, our defensive line they're pretty average, but somehow we'll get pressure. No, you won't. So I think from that standpoint, that's where it needed to be done. Losing Linval Joseph in the offseason. Michael Pierce was supposed to come in and be that replacement. He opted out because of COVID-19.
Everson Griffin,
him being gone. I think they had a hope of that. So I think when Mike Zimmer got into camp here, he went, whoa, okay, hey, I got some good defensive linemen here, but I don't have one guy that can make a play, maybe might change an offensive game plan, put stress on the offensive line of the other team. And if I want to play this way and have young corners this year, because that's what they're doing, Mike Hughes, who I love coming out of Central Florida, but he had a battle an ACL injury a few years ago, so he's just getting back into the swing of things. So he's kind of an unproven commodity. Then you have the Holton Hill from Texas, longer guy, and Jeff Gladney. None of those guys are proven commodities yet. So you'd like to think hey, let's not start the year with we can't get any pressure and they got to cover for 7 seconds every play. How about we get some guys?
So with Danielle Hunter, Ngakoue can put that defense on his back.
I know, I mean, I don't know about on the back, but I think it certainly changes the overall look and the dimensions of the defense.
It helps out everyone else.
It really does.
Yeah.
I think that's the big thing. And it'll even help out their defensive tackles, which I don't expect that play to be as good as in years past, where, hey, if you have a, average defensive end out here, you might tinker around and go, okay, we got Daniel Hunter out there. We got a good tackle on him. Our back's going to chip him. All right. And now, Linval Joseph's inside. Well, we might need to double team him this week. And, we don't have to worry about the other guy on the other edge. Now that changes it into where it might free up some of the inside guys and make life easier on them. I just think it makes them a better overall defense. It certainly fits the scheme of what Minnesota wants to do.
Right.
They needed that other playmaker certainly on the front 4. And I think the last thing I'll say too is, this is a team that wants to play this style of football. You can't play, we're going to play through our defense and play running, have a running attack and kind of chew up the clock style football and then have a below average front 4. I can tell you that ain't going to work. You're going to run the ball and waste a lot of time when the other team goes down and scores on you, and then you're going to run the ball and waste a lot of time, and the other team's going to get the ball and go down and score on you. So you have to, the way their team is built, it makes sense. And then to get that with the pay cut, I think it just tells you how desperate Yannick Ngakoue was to get out of Jacksonville, not wanting to deal with that. And from what I've known throughout this whole process, the only team I heard that I substantially could put a name to Yannick Ngakoue from people I knew around the NFL, the Raiders were the only other team I had heard that were really involved in this. Florio says he knows of another team. I don't know who that is, but
he won't tell you.
He said he wasn't going to give up that source today, so maybe that'll come out during the week or whatever that is.
I thought you guys were close. There you go.
Not with everything.
Yeah, I mean, what Minnesota should have done is they should have gone back in 2016 and taken him, because they took 15 picks after the Vikings, or so this was the Vikings had a pick, 15 picks before Ngakoue went. Yeah, and they took Mackenzie Alexander, the cornerback out of Clemson.
Yeah, who's not there anymore.
Yeah, should have just taken Ngakoue there. I mean,
they didn't have the need then, though. So you
didn't have the need
that.
one.
Right.
All right, you're going to cover for him. So Ngakoue, so I looked up since he came into the league, he has 14 forced fumbles.
Right.
That is fourth most in the league in that span, behind Chandler Jones, Khalil Mack, and T.J. Watt. Since he was drafted, 37.5 sacks. That's 12th most in the league in that span. Chandler Jones has 60. He leads the league in that span. Danielle Hunter is third.
Right. Give me some. Do you have other names in that list?
In the sack one?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Okay, you just went with the North.
Chandler
It's
Jones
okay.
is 60, and then Pete's looking it up as we speak right now. So, I mean, those two categories, elite. Do you think Ngakoue's best days are behind him now? What he did right there, is that going to be tough to replicate, or can he keep doing that in Minnesota?
No, I think he's in the prime of his career. I do. I do. I think you got a guy that I think is just, hitting the peak prime of his career and has a lot of years left. Now, one of the big issues about trading for Yannick Ngakoue that we didn't address off the top is, it was hard for Jacksonville to get the deal they wanted because, okay, yeah. If
you didn't get a first-round pick.
No, but you're trading for a guy who you're not guaranteed to have for more than 1 year. They can franchise tag him next year and have to do that. That's going to be a pretty penny if you want to keep him for that.
Sure.
And that's also going to be the basis of where long-term contract terms start to get discussed too, because that franchise tag number is going to be thrown into the mix to where, Yannick Ngakoue and his representation are going to go, wait, we're going to make this year, no matter what. So that's going to add a wrinkle into things, certainly. So what did you ask me?
Well, you wanted to know the sack totals, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think that's about where he is.
But you think that, can he improve on what he's about? What we've seen is what they're getting and should get for the next few years.
I think he is kind of in that category of, I don't ever expect him to lead the NFL in sacks.
Okay.
But do I expect him to be somewhere between 8 and 14 sacks for a number of years here to come? Yes, I do. Now, the other thing we'll throw into this, and what I said on TV today with Yannick Ngakoue a little bit, is he is a little bit of a one-trick pony. And to me, he's 12th with sacks, right? I think if we went along those defensive players and went, all right, so how does he play against the run? He's going to be deeper than 12th. He's high 240 pounds. He's not a real big man. His game is predicated on speed, getting around the edge, beating you that way, which is great value.
Can you keep him on the field?
You can.
As much as some of the other guys?
You can, but you're going to have to at times probably be cognizant of, where do we have him and what's his responsibility in the run game? There's going to be some of that, I know we even had that at times with Tampa Bay and Simeon Rice, where there were certain matchups and the way a team lined up where they would go, that's not Simeon's bread and butter. We got to find a way to kick the linebackers over there. Or Derek Brooks, you take this responsibility and we're going to change Simeon's responsibility. Those are things they might have to deal with that. But regardless, they got him to rush the passer and get after guys that way.
So here are the names on the sack list. Since he came into the league, that was in 2016.
Right.
Chandler Jones first. He's got 60 sacks since then.
Stud.
Aaron Donald. Then you got Danielle Hunter, Cam Jordan, Von Miller, Ryan Kerrigan, 42.5.
Ooh.
Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Frank Clark, Calais Campbell, Mario Addison, and then Yannick Ngakoue.
Yeah, okay. All right. So,
I'd take any of those guys.
I would too. I definitely would too. And some of those guys, got those stats 2016, 2017 when Yannick just got it and now have fallen off a little bit, or certainly aren't in that class anymore.
Everson Griffin, 14th on that list. The guy Pete notes he's replacing.
Is that, okay.
14th,
so, when you look at Yannick Ngakoue and you break it down, it's 8 sacks, it's 12 sacks, it's 9.5 sacks, it's 8 sacks, right? And I think that's basically about the type of player I expect him to be at. And listen, you got to remember, he had these sacks and some of this production with, top-notch talent around him. So you can't forget about that either. You know, it's a little different to me than like the guy who's like, you know, the lone unicorn on his defense is still putting up those numbers, like a Chandler Jones, as compared to, wait, you had how many Pro Bowlers next to you?
Yeah.
Wait, you had how many mismatches on the D-line that the other teams had? Oh, we had to worry about Dante Fowler and Calais Campbell and Marcel Darius and Miles Jack and
a
Telvin
good secondary
Smith,
where he got some secondary
the best
sacks
secondary
too.
in football early in his career there. I mean, it was the best. So
here's a pop quiz for you.
Pop quiz.
This is Pete Pete put this in here. The Jaguars have 2 defensive starters remaining from the 2017 AFC Championship team. Can you name those
Miles
2?
Jack is one.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. All right. Miles Jack is one. The safeties are gone.
Church, Gibson.
Gone. They're gone. Hold on. Who the freak am I missing here? The defensive lineman? I mean, Calais is gone. Fowler, them's gone. Yannick Ngakoue's gone. Telvin Smith is gone.
Gone. Malik Jackson.
Gone.
Gone.
Who is it?
Avery Jones.
Avery Jones, a defensive tackle. Damn. Wow. That's unbelievable. You know what? I didn't really put him in the starting category that year. I wasn't sure if he started or not. But, yeah, that's pretty unbelievable. And I would have never expected that defense right there to have such a short run and really only win 2 playoff games, and then we never hear about them ever again.
Why couldn't they keep them together? What was the, impetus for breaking that defense up?
Well, I
couldn't
think
pay them all.
I think couldn't pay them all. They wasted years with Blake Bortles and wasted the trying to justify that pick and do all of that. And to me, that is the basis of it. I look at it and go, you wasted 2016, 2017, and 2018 all because of Blake Bortles. And again, that's why the Blake Bortles 70 came out. I got so frustrated because I went, Jacksonville's defense is dominating teams every week. And then you look up and, they lost, 20-10. And, people would look at the stats and go, well, how did they lose? I mean, Blake Bortles had a good game. He threw for 285 yards. When the game was over, it was 20-0. And he drove them down for a touchdown and a field goal late and got 210 yards in the last 2 drives of the game when the other team was on the side making hamburgers. And they were using it to justify it.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with Jacksonville here too. What are we going to do with some of this stuff? Got to start making a team. How many years are we going to go with top 10 picks and we're going to only have 1 playoff appearance? I mean, they've been picking in the top 10 other than the 2018 draft.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like my whole life.
They got Kayvon Chase on. You liked him a lot.
Well, I wonder if that plays into this too. Now, the draft, they killed it this year. Yeah, I love it.
C.J. Henderson they got first
yes,
round.
I loved him. You know that. But I do wonder if this was part of the Yannick Ngakoue, I'll take a little bit less money, because Florio's going out of his mind. He's like, how do you just take $5 million off? He goes, I would have just gone back to Jacksonville and been like, I'm here. Yeah. Give me my $1 million a week because I'm supposed to make $17 million.
Right.
But maybe he felt like they were going to stick it to him.
They weren't going to play him.
Maybe not play him. I mean, he did get in a spat with the owner. He obviously didn't like being there.
Yep.
So there was a real issue there. And maybe he also heard how talented those other 2 guys are. I mean, you could sit here last year and go, well, the best defense end on the Jaguars last year was Josh Allen, the first-round pick from 2 drafts ago. And I love the Kayvon Chase guy, too, coming out. He's like a Yannick Ngakoue, except he's stronger and more explosive. So maybe he heard enough from guys, too, to go, dude, I'm not sure you're going to have a starting spot when you come back here. You might just be part of the rotation, which then would hurt also his stock
future
as far
earnings.
as this. So maybe he just took it all into calculation and said, that's shit. I don't like it there, and it doesn't sound like it's that good for me anymore. I need to get the out of here. I'll take the pay cut. Let me move on with life.
From Brian Wong, he says, Chris, please make sure to give Jaguars the credit they deserve in your next episode. You claimed they couldn't get anything higher than a 3rd rounder. Jaguars made out like bandits on this one.
Yeah.
Duval,
well, I don't think I'm that wrong. I mean, I didn't know Yannick Ngakoue was going to take $5.5 million off his price tag. So I think that certainly helped it to be a 2nd rounder. So very fortunate that way that they found a team that was desperate enough that, our team can't be the team we want it to be unless we fill this position with somebody of quality. And they got fortunate to find the Minnesota Vikings with that.
So real quick, before we get on to your win totals for every team in the AFC, not win totals, your over-under on the win totals.
You made me really
sorry about that.
Because I was like, was I supposed to have these win totals? Because we might have to stop the pod
And I kind of want you to do
down.
that because I want to add them up and see if they all equal out, like you've said before.
You come up with the algorithm on the Excel sheet, and I'll do that.
I can do that. It's simple
sure
formula.
you can.
Add and subtract.
Sure.
Before we get to that, I do just so Jacksonville. Like where are they going? So that you got later on in the day. Earlier today, later on your show, I meant, Leonard Fournette, they cut him.
Woo!
So he's gone.
Woo!
They couldn't trade him, apparently. So that you say,
I'm
like,
a little
oh, man, all these
surprised by
teams
that.
are going to be knocking themselves over trying to get Leonard Fournette. They didn't trade for him. They said, Doug Marrone says they couldn't get a 5th round or 6th round or anything for him.
I'm really surprised.
Surprising.
By that. Yes.
Surprising. Maybe they knew that the Jaguars would just cut him eventually.
Yeah, but you also, throw in the risk of if they just
another team getting
gonna
them.
get them through claiming them through waivers.
So it's a little head scratching there. But where are the Jacksonville Jaguars going here? Are they tanking for Trevor? Are they flopping for Fields?
Yeah, they're in a
doing?
rebuild mode for sure. They are, and I think in their heart of hearts, it's a no-lose situation. Yeah, the season falls apart. Okay, we got Trevor Lawrence. Now, Doug Marrone and, Caldwell, I don't know if they'll be there to see that if it falls apart too drastically.
Yeah.
But clearly are in a rebuild, retool type mode for their football team.
They have to feel they have some security, though, to make these trades and these moves the last couple years.
It would make you think or wonder, certainly. Yeah, because you're right. You're sitting here making moves where you go, wait, are we gonna still be here to benefit from these moves we're making? These are aggressive, big time moves. And hey, Jalen Ramsey, they deserve all the credit in the world. They killed it in that trade. And they did pretty damn good in this one, too. I'm shocked that no one wanted to trade for Leonard Fournette. I am. Now, I know he's got some off-the-field issues, and, there's been some issues, I think, more than even have been, made public down there in Jacksonville to a degree. From things I've heard, they've caught him in lies. And, of course, he had the, run on the field incident and a few other things that I've heard that have gone on down there that I don't think are his best look. And maybe that's hurt his ability out in the trade market.
Marrone's saying that wasn't a part of it. He's saying it was strictly football. He didn't fit their offense. That's at least what he's saying.
So let's dive into that, too, because that was something Mike brought up. But I understand that. That's true. Like, he's not a Jay Gruden guy. But I don't know. Last time I checked, 230-pound running backs who run 4.4 flat and can run 80-yard touchdowns, they fit in any offense. So
you figure it out.
So to me, there's more of an issue there than he's letting it on. Doug Marrone's a great players coach. He's not going to sell any of these guys down the road. Even if Leonard Fournette was in his office every day, like, hey, what the why aren't I in on third down? Why aren't I getting more reps in practice? I don't think Doug Marrone would ever tell the truth of what happened there. I think he's good that way. I really do. I think he's always – look how he went down with Jalen Ramsey last year. He got in a fight with Jalen Ramsey on the sideline. He still never said anything negative about Jalen Ramsey when he was on his team and they knew they were going to trade him. So I don't – all that's bullcrap to me right now. I do think there was obviously an issue that they felt like, whoa, we'll just let him go. Leonard Fournette is a specimen, and I would think that –
You threw Pittsburgh out there.
I would think that there's going to be a number of claims on him on waivers, or if they haven't filed the released paperwork right now, that I would think a few teams might be calling and be like, whoa, you're going to release him? Whoa, okay, wait, we're on waivers. We're like 19 and 20. Like the Pittsburgh Steelers.
But was Mike saying, and I watched you guys talk about it, he was saying he doesn't need to pass through waivers because his
he was
contract's
wrong, Mike. He had to correct himself at the end of the show.
Got
he
it.
was, yes, because he's only going into year 4, so he has to pass through waivers.
Got it.
And that'll be interesting. I think a number of teams are going to clamor for him. Yes, Pittsburgh is one of those teams I look at and go.
But it usually goes, how does it go in football? Is the worst teams get
worst
that
goes first.
Yeah.
So
Pittsburgh,
they're like 18 or 19.
Yeah.
You're right. That's going to be dicey.
That'd be tough.
But you look at the top of the draft, like Detroit, your Detroit Lions. Like, I don't think they're going to do it.
Yeah.
You got
Although,
two.
Swift
is
got hurt.
Right. Washington, excuse me.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
That's bad.
They could be in it
for 5 minutes.
They could be in it.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot there, right? So maybe they're a team early on in the draft. The number 1 team, the Bengals from the draft, I don't think they're doing it. Not with Joe Mixon. He's a stud.
Washington seems like
could be.
Why wouldn't they?
Right.
Why wouldn't they?
Right. Miami at 5. I even brought up the Chargers at 6. But if I'm the Steelers, I think that changes your team.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to say this about Leonard Fournette. I know people look at him a little bit as a bust. Like, he didn't live up to his top 5 billing. Yeah, okay. I understand that, but we've already, like, what is there in Jacksonville there to help him? There was no pass game. It was Blake Bortles. He had 10 people at the line of scrimmage. Have we had offensive linemen leave Jacksonville where we've just been like, that was the greatest offensive line we've ever seen? How could they? No. So there's been nothing special there. The only offensive lineman that's left Jacksonville worth a damn was Andrew Norwell, who signed a big deal with the Carolina Panthers, other than that. So there's nothing there to help him, too. All I'm going to say is there's not many people on earth that are built like him.
Yeah.
You know, that's one of my sayings. But 6 foot, 6'1", 230, could be in the conversation for the fastest guy on your team and just about any team he goes and plays on. You know, he's a home run hitter. I mean, go back, watch Denver last year. Watch those games. I mean, 80-yard touchdowns, big runs, makes people miss, can run you over. I just think this is a gem to be had, as long as some of these teams maybe know some stories that I don't know behind the scenes. Maybe he's a worse individual or teammate than I realize, but I haven't heard enough of that.
Played 13 games his first year.
Right.
8 games his second year, but 15 last year.
Yeah.
So was healthy last year and ran for over 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards.
4.5 or 6 million for a guy of his caliber. And yeah, last year running for 1,100 yards with quarterbacks being changed, receivers being hurt, offensive linemen in and out. I mean, I just, you know, again, I think there's more special to this player than.
And it's 1 year.
And
too. You can run him to death if you really wanted to.
Exactly
You
right.
have no long-term commitment with him.
You're right.
Yeah,
exactly
I
right.
think he goes to Washington.
Yeah, okay, that's your
my
bet?
pick. That's
Okay.
my pick
All right.
in a podcast where we're going to be making picks. A lot of them.
I like that,
because
though.
we're moving on here. We talked more about Jacksonville and Ngakoue than I thought here. So this
I'm going to say Chargers, okay?
Oh, okay. All
You
right.
go Skins.
I'll go
Washington.
No!
Shit. I really have an issue.
What do we have to do?
You don't understand. It's a life of growing up in the
I
NFC
know.
East with the Giants and Washington. it's like, whoa.
So we're
We
gonna
might
have to do
put,
something.
I have to put something on the table.
Yeah.
Swear jar, something like that. You're
I think
right.
physical pain needs to be involved.
Oh,
you
you
know,
do?
like that. Well, you know, like the rubber band where people snap their wrist.
Okay.
But something more than that.
Okay. Well, I'll do that if you want, as long as it doesn't leave permanent marks on me. I'm okay with that.
Because we got to clean that up.
Okay.
Okay. So you think Chargers?
I'm going to say Chargers. I think him with Austin Eckler, Anthony Lynn's an ex-running back. They've been talking about playing defense and run game.
And the Chargers were 5-11 last year.
They were the 6th pick, so they'll have early dibs. Right.
Okay, I'm going to go Washington.
Okay,
State.
I like it. That's a good pick.
Okay. All right. Here are your. Let's do your over-unders. I keep wanting to say win totals to freak you out here. We got the over-unders for every team in the AFC.
Where we start, in AFC East?
And let's go through them. Yep, let's do the AFC East. So, and let's just start top to bottom. Let's go from Patriots. 12-4 last year. Their over-under is 9.5. For the first time since 2001, they're going to start a season without TB12 as their starting quarterback. 9.5 for the Patriots.
Ooh, wow.
Lost 8 players to opt-outs.
8 players to opt-outs.
Lost Kyle Van Noy.
Have the hardest schedule in football, or it's one of the hardest. I know that. 9-5 is it's right around that range. To me, I envision it. I'm going to say over.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to give it I'm going to give it a 10-6 type of season. That's what I mean, that's a perfect number. I think you'll have a few weeks here and there where, yeah, things are sluggish or they don't execute the right way. But I'm expecting the Patriots to be like one of those teams where, you know, yeah, they had some moments of not looking good early, had a few games where we went, whoa, this looks really good, and it all starts to come together in December where we start to get towards playoff time and go, oh, crap. Cam Newton and Billy Boy might have something going here. They might have finally found the formula and everything like that. So, I'm not counting the Patriots out of this mix yet.
And it's hard to count them out, right? A team
know.
that's won the division that many years in a row, and you feel like they'll just figure out a way to do it. And Cam might be. I mean, this could be a great story for Cam, coming back this year and being that resurgent quarterback that they need coming into Tom Brady's old stomping ground. But does he have enough around him? And we're going to do a video after we're done here where we look at Josh McDaniels and what he may be able to scheme up with that offense.
Right.
I mean, does he have enough around him, or will he have to be like that Cam from old where it's just like he takes the game on his own shoulders and brings him to a win?
I think there's enough around him. I think, we're going to have to rely on the guys like N'Keal Harry to, like, show up as a first-round pick from last year's draft to be, like, part of the offense. Yeah, but I think, the biggest thing is he's going to be with a coaching staff that understands how to give a schematical advantage all the time. And I think that's going to be really refreshing for him. I expect the offensive line to be better. They need Sony Michel to be, hitting close to 100%. But, yeah, when you talk to me about, Edelman and N'Keal Harry, Damiere Byrd, Marquise Lee opted out. Who's the other receiver I'm missing up? I got to pull up their roster real quick. It's driving me crazy. Hold on.
Pull up the team.
But, yeah, there's enough there to me to where I look at it and go, they should be fine. Oh, Mohamed Sanu, that was the guy I'm missing. Right. So when I look at it from that standpoint, and you've heard me talk a little bit, Edelman and N'Keal Harry, Sanu, man, interchangeable guys, all can run speed sweeps, quarterback passes, run over the middle, catch physical balls, a lot of by committee approach that I think is very effective.
Prop bet, who has more passing yards this year, Cam or Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expect it to be that.
That's a slam dunk.
Yeah, and especially, we just talked about question marks with the passing help around Cam. There's no question marks with that in Tampa, added to the fact that the question mark in Tampa is the run game. So that's just going to me, add to more passing and more yards like that for him.
I'm going to go under just because I feel like you lose enough players at a certain point, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
And they've lost enough in free agency and the opt-outs, and if Cam's not a fit, I feel like there's more downside risk for the Patriots than upside risk.
Yeah, okay.
And so I'd go under.
My biggest concern with all their opt-outs is just Dante Hightower. That's really the only one I look at.
Patrick Chung.
Yeah, I could deal with that.
Yeah.
They have a ton of safeties, and Patrick Chung is as much as I love him, is not a special player anymore. He's special brains player, no. So I look at that, and then maybe Marcus Cannon, who opted out. As the two positions where I just go Hightower and Mark, where I go, ooh, that hurt them. Everything else I still think is very manageable.
Okay, so you go over 9.5, I go under. Bills, a lot of people think the Bills, this is their year to finally pass the Patriots. They were 10-6 last year. Their over and under is 8.5.
Oh, went down. Well, that's easy for me. I'm going over there.
Yeah, I am too.
I could see them both, the Bills and the Patriots, both being 10-6 and going to tiebreakers or head-to-head matchups as far as who wins that game and things like that. But, I expect this Bills team, the roster, everything I like about it. I mean, there's nothing not to like about it. And then I think my one question with them was, you've heard me say as the starting running back, them with Zach Moss and Singletary together. I mean, I just like it. I'm very bullish on the Bulls.
So
Bills.
They added Stephon Diggs to the offense this year. The defense, I mean, the question in the past for the Bills is the defense good enough to carry them?
Yeah. I don't think you have to worry about that
You don't
anymore.
have to worry about this year. You think Josh Allen takes the next step. You think he and Stephon Diggs, they help each other, and that offense can actually win games for him and not just prevent them from losing.
I think so. I think that's what I expect is, the run game's not working today. Okay, fine. Josh Allen and the offense, they'll throw the ball over the field and be fine. I just think, between that and they have a very good, young, really potentially dominant offensive line. And if they can kind of take the next step this year with Josh Allen, I go, ooh, shit, watch out for this group.
Okay. They added some guys on defense that Sean McDermott knew from over in his days in Carolina.
Phenomenal. Like
Vernon Butler, Mario Addison.
Great signings by them. Great. Those are like such under-the-radar good signings. Who else? Anybody else we're missing in there in free agency that jumped out to you as far as names?
They are a couple there. I didn't write them down.
Yeah, I got them here in front of you. Mario Addison, you said that. Vernon Butler. Quentin Jefferson.
Yeah.
From the Seahawks, another just big to play defensive tackle or defensive end. They're growing on trees there. And then Josh Norman, they got him too to help out the secondary a little bit
right now, but
they're playing chess up there in Buffalo the last few years. I like what they're doing.
I like Sean McDermott. Seems like a good dude, and I like what they got going here. An emphatic over. Over.
Yeah, that was way 8-5.
8.5 emphatic over.
Seems low to me.
All right, so Jets. We got the Jets now. 7-9 last year. Their over-under went down. 6.5. They've lost a lot, right? Jamal Adams, they lost in the trade. C.J. Mosley opted out. So defense, which was the second best defense against the rush last year, they got holes this year. I don't know. They did try to bolster the offensive line, right? Re-sign Alex Lewis. They got George Fant, Connor McGovern, Mekhi Becton they drafted.
They restructured it,
Trying to give Sam Darnold some protection. But 6.5.
Man, It's good. It's right where I'm going to probably go under here, though. I mean, that's where, to me, I look at them and go 7-9, 6-10. And if you're going to make me pick, I'm going to pick 6-10, especially with the way the year starts out. Mm-hmm. The fact that they got to go to Buffalo, the 49ers come here to New York, and then they got to go to the Indianapolis Colts. That's a pretty tough first 3 games, let alone the Broncos are the week after that. Where I just worry about the Jets, it's very easy. In a league where, passing and coverage is an issue, they don't have a shutdown corner, nor do they have a receiver that I look at as a game breaker yet. Now, the offensive line will be improved, but we got to also see where the running backs are at. I mean, I haven't seen Le'Veon Bell be worth a damn in 2 years. So
he took a rep with the second team. Did you see that?
Well, yeah. So there's right. So I mean, Frank Gore, and I love Frank Gore too. But I mean, I'm not sitting here like, oh, I'm so excited to see Frank Gore in year 74 with the Jets. Like, I got the questions there. I just don't know.
So if it all falls apart for the Jets this year, everyone's going to blame Sam Darnold and say they got to go get Trevor Lawrence.
It sounds like everyone's going to blame Sam Darnold and Adam Gase. And I just want to say this is year 1 of a rebuild right now. And I think they've taken some major steps in the right direction. I think they're like one of those teams, 6-10, pain in the ass for a lot of teams, and probably lose like 2 or 3 heartbreakers. Mm-hmm. But that's kind of how I envision it.
I'm going to go under as well. You made a good case.
All right, thank you.
You convinced me.
Okay.
Last team.
It's a tough one, though.
That is a tough one.
It is.
But I think, like the Patriots, I think there's more downside risk, right? It seems like there are scenarios you can picture in your mind, maybe because they're the Jets, of how it all falls apart.
You're right.
And they don't get close to
No
6.5.
doubt.
Dolphins, it almost all fell apart last year.
Yeah.
But they were able to finish strong. They were 5-11 last year. They spent some money on defense. They got the Cowboys' Byron Jones there. They got a great secondary, right?
They
Xavier Howard, and then they drafted Noah Igbenogany.
Yeah, from TCU, right?
Did I get that? Did I do that right?
Yeah, it's TCU, right? Is it TCU?
Auburn.
That's Auburn. Sorry, yes. Thinking about Minnesota.
Last year they were last in the NFL in sack percentage, but perhaps they can have some coverage sacks this year because of that great secondary.
Yep.
All right, so their number is 6.5. 6.5, that's a healthy, because I mean last year we wouldn't have been surprised if they won 2 games, 3 games. They won 5. Now they're over under 6.5. Oof, it's kind of high. I like them, but it's kind of high.
I tend to want to go over here too.
Oh, you want to go over this?
I mean under. Excuse me. No, under. I want to go under. I tend to want to go under here. Yeah, I just don't know if I really feel like they're ready for prime time quite yet. There's a lot to like about them. Fitzpatrick, as streaky as he is, the Shangaley hiring, I got to see how that goes. I did not love that. Do I think that defense is going to be damn good and a pain in the ass? Yeah, I think they're going to be a pain in the ass, but I don't know if it's going to be, dominant yet. That's where, they're going to cover some people. Maybe.
Do they need to be dominant, though? That offense isn't bad. They can put up some numbers and points.
You're right. But, again, I would go, okay, who they're relying on is Ryan Fitzpatrick, who's the streakiest quarterback in the history of the sport, Devontae Adams, who has an injury history, and Matt Breida, who has an injury history at running back. So there's, some question marks there. I just think between looking at that, I just look at it as a young team with a lot of potential headed in the right direction. A little bit, like the Jets in a lot of ways, where I go, ooh, yeah, they're going to be 6-10. They're going to be a lot of big plays and kind of fun, a pain in the ass, but going to lose some close games. And especially, I think, they're going to lose some other games too, where, okay, we're 3-6, the season's over, let's go with Tua now. And then you're going to lose a game or two with Tua because he's a rookie and getting his feet underneath him, right? I don't expect him to make some run and go 8-0 with Tua or anything like that. So, yeah, that's where I look at it. I go to watch out for the Dolphins in 2021. That's where I would say.
Okay, so you're saying under here.
I am going under.
You're going under
6.5. Man,
they're
all
because it was so tough for you. They are. I mean, Vegas knows what they're doing, don't they?
Shit.
it's like that's every day. You're like, that's a good line. That's about where I'd put it. They don't want to lose money. I'm going to go over. I'm just to disagree with you, and also because I feel like if my prediction on the Patriots kind of falling apart is true, maybe the Dolphins pick up some of those.
I am big, as you know, and anybody that's ever listened to me, on the starting schedule.
Oh, like the momentum out of the gates, first 4 weeks.
So the Dolphins, like the Jets, that's really what scares me. Patriots, Bills, okay, Jaguars, all right, you could beat them, I know that. But then it's Seattle, San Francisco, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Rams. So that's where I just go, ooh. And if you're watching on YouTube right now, there you go. To where, if you sat there and went, ooh, the Dolphins, they got out to a 1-6 start, I'd go, I'm
and
not
after
shocked.
that, it's tough to come back from that.
Yeah, so you might win a few games, but it's hard. It's hard.
All right, I'm sticking with my pick, but that's a great point. That scares me. That makes me feel like I'm immediately wrong. Okay.
Never know.
Okay, let's go to the AFC North. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's start with the Ravens. They were 14-2 last year. They've got a defensive upgrade with Calais Campbell. Got Patrick Queen in the first round of the draft. What a great move. I love Matt Judon. He's like one of my favorite players in the NFL. Got Marcus Peters back there. That defense is stacked. The offense is stacked. They got J.K. Dobbins, who could help that running game as well. There's a lot to like about this team that won 14 games last year, and the over-under this year is 11.5.
Whoa. That's where it's at?
11.5.
I was expecting it to be a higher number and be easier.
So now you think that you're being tricked. It's like it's almost so low that you're like, what am I missing?
I was going to go. I thought you were going to say it's like 13. I thought maybe you'd say 12.5, something like that, where I was just going to go under. I'm going under. I'm going to go under anyways.
Wow.
11-5.
Why?
11. I could see them go to 11-5. One, because I think their division's going to be better. Big Ben's back.
Yeah, that's
true. So
true.
you don't get 2 wins against Pittsburgh.
True.
I think Cleveland's going to be the real deal, or at least certainly better, And then Cincinnati, I think, is going to be a pain in the butt too. So I look at it from that. And then my other thing is this, Ahmed. It took the league by storm last year.
Right.
You're crazy if you don't think every team in football, especially the teams that got Baltimore on their schedule, haven't looked at how are we going to defend this Lamar Jackson and this offense this year. So I think teams will be a little bit more ready for it as compared to last year. And I don't know, in my gut or heart, I could see them being like in a Chiefs team. The Chiefs were the number 1 seed 2 years ago, right? Yeah. And then, we hit a few blips in the road and we ended up the number 2 seed and not as good as the year before, but we won the Super Bowl. I could see the Ravens being that, being the 2 or 3 seed this year and then making a playoff run and getting in the Super Bowl. But I just think between that and, having to play the schedule they have to play this year.
Yeah, Kansas City week 3, at Philly week 6, at New England week 10, Dallas week 13. So, that's what happens. You look at the same thing with Kansas City. You have a good year the previous season, you're going to have a tougher schedule the next year.
No doubt. And you got to go play the AFC South, which is 3 caliber playoff teams with the Texans, the Colts, and the Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans, we know how they match up with them. Yeah. And then honestly, I even look at the NFC East and go, yeah, I know they're better, but the NFC East, the Cowboys and the Eagles, they match up good with the Ravens. They're not going to be overpowered by that team. You know what I mean? So, I'm looking for just a little bit of a letdown from the Ravens. It's hard to emulate 14-2 2 years in a row, plus some teams being better around them. And, them probably not being the number 1 seed, but a big pain in the ass and, getting to the playoffs, and they could go to the Super Bowl. I'm just going to go under with the 11.5.
Prop bet. Lamar Jackson had 1,206 rushing yards last year. Does he go over or under that this year?
If he gets to that this year, he's either just broken some long runs where I go, whoa, the guy's unreal.
You think they will want to run him less?
No, yes, definitely. And then why wouldn't you when you have J.K. Dobbins in the mix now?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Lamar should just be the ultimate decoy and the ultimate, here's 8 or 9 rushes a game, and whoa, he had 8 or 9 rushes for 80-something yards. That would be something I could see happening.
I'm going over.
Over.
You've lost faith in the Ravens, 11.5. I'm going over. I still have faith in Lamar Jackson. Thank you very much.
Hey, listen, that's a tough one. I was expecting a higher number there. I did not think it.
See, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping is that you expected a higher number. You were planning to go under. So even when the number was low, you still you were boxed in. You were boxed in. You couldn't get out. But you made good reasons there.
Yeah, we'll see.
Valid point. Steelers, 8-8 last year. Of course, they did it basically without Big Ben Roethlisberger, Mason Rudolph, Devlin Hodges were the backups. They're still the backups now. Got some good skill guys. You got defense with stars. I was looking at this defense last year.
Right.
And I think at the time, you obviously knew it, but I don't know, the casual fan knew how dominant that defense was. It was just the offense was so bad that we almost dismissed it. I was looking at some of it. They were 3rd in yards per play last year, 1st in the NFL in sacks per pass attempt last year, 2nd in interceptions per pass attempt last year, 1st in quarterback pressures, fifth best in goal-to-goal situations. I mean, like basically every category you looked at,
they're top.
They were good.
Yeah.
So their number this year is 9.5. Before I hear yours, I'm going over. I'm just immediately going over because I think Big Ben comes back. That defense is already great. 9.5, I say over. What you say, Chris?
I'm going with you. I am too. You know, I expect Pittsburgh to be one of those teams who didn't make the playoffs last year that makes the playoffs this year. I do. Yeah, and I think, you know, of course Big Ben's worth, you know, some wins. And if he stays healthy and all of that, you know. But, yeah, Eric Ebron at tight end, you know, second and third year for some younger receivers, you know, like the Deontay Johnsons or the kid from Oklahoma State, Washington. Of course, you know, the Chase Claypool. We've talked all about that. But I think the big thing is the defense.
Yeah.
You know, they don't, to what you're saying, they didn't need much offense. If they just got a little offense last year, I mean.
Well, they were 8-8. I mean,
I know. Who knows
like
where
you
it
go,
goes?
wait, what if Ben gets hurt? Well, he did last year, and they were 8-8.
Right.
So it's like you don't have to. Your imagination doesn't have to run wild to see how they can get 9.5.
No, I mean, you know, they lost to the Jets 16-10. They lost to the Bills 17-10. They lost to the Browns 21-7. You know, I mean, they lost some games. The Ravens in overtime by 3. You know, the 49ers by 4. Where you just go, if Big Ben is out there, I just, you know, at least half of those are wins. And
you think he can come back and be what he was before?
Like,
I mean, these are some injuries they're piling up, right?
They are. He's a beat-up guy.
This was an elbow, right?
Yeah, elbow, torn some ligaments there. Now, you know, 2 years ago, let's not forget how awesome he was. He was awesome 2 years ago. You know, I mean, yards, touchdowns, big-time throws. So, I expect a really good year from Big Ben. I do. I would be shocked. And, yeah, I expect Pittsburgh to be a major player in the AFC playoff conversation.
We will have that conversation where you pick your actual playoff teams, division winners.
Next week.
Right. So, okay, over. We're both going over for Steelers.
Yeah.
Browns, 6-10 last year. Baker Mayfield was not good. Second worst interception percentage in the NFL to Jameis Winston last year was Baker Mayfield, so they turned it over a lot. They did sign Jack Conklin, trying to protect him a little bit more. Austin Hooper, you like him.
I do.
Right? Nick Chubb, we liked him.
Drafted the tackle in the first round.
Yeah.
From Alabama.
Yep, that's right. And so you got Kevin Stefanski there now. New eyes.
What's the number at, though?
8.5.
Gosh, damn. Hey, these are hard. This is quite arguably the best division of football this year. I think you're going to be able to make this argument with the NFC West this year. I'm going to go over.
Ooh, I think that's the AFC West, which we're going to do in a little bit later on, don't you think?
Well, I don't know. The NFC West, too. It's hard.
That's true.
I had this conversation. Well, we had this conversation with my dad on the podcast a little on Thursday.
Yeah.
Just how many damn teams you look at right now and you go, man, there's a lot of good players on every team. So it's 8.5?
8.5 for the Browns, yeah. That seems high.
Gosh.
Doesn't it? Because you want to have faith in the Browns. You want to be like, hey, I think Baker can turn it around. You love Odell. He can have a comeback year.
I could see Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Baltimore, all at 10-6, 9-7. I would not be shocked. I really wouldn't. And it's why I want to go the over with Cleveland too.
What? Wow.
I do.
Okay.
I do. I look at Cleveland and I think we know the roster is phenomenal.
Yeah.
The only question we had was O-line, really. Okay, that's been fixed. I mean, it should be with the talent they have there. And I really think the scheme and the coaching they have goes in there actually fits their roster better than the last scheme and coaching did. So, you know, like you've probably heard me say, but with Stefanski, the Minnesota scheme, all that, run the ball, boots and play action.
Yeah.
Shit, Baker Mayfield's, he's more gifted than Kirk Cousins in all those areas, let alone he's going to have better talent around him. And arguably a better running back, too. I mean, Nick Chubb's a beast. And then defense, I mean, you defensive line. You kidding me? Olivier Vernon, Sheldon Richardson, Myles Garrett, because it's
you don't want to make them mad. You don't want them to come after you.
It's a special front four, you know. So yeah, I'm going with the over there. I could also, I mean, listen, this is we're having fun, whatever.
Yeah.
I could see them being 8-8 and being a 7 seed in the playoffs too. I mean, I with that, but I'm going to go. Yeah, they're 9-7. And let's dissect.
Well, some of this too is you got to, injuries are going to happen to all teams. You can't predict those, right? But part of it is in this year with COVID, you figure some people might test positive, you lose them for a week or two. So I think depth does matter more this year than maybe in years past.
Definitely.
And the fact that you have, a Case Keenum to back up Baker Mayfield, you've always liked Case Keenum there. That mitigates some of that downside risk. And so I can see liking him. You're going to look at the schedule here?
Yeah, I mean, the schedule, Baltimore week 1, not easy. Got the Bengals and then the Washington football team. So
2-1 maybe?
Yeah, they could be 2-1, certainly. I mean, I can sit here right now and go, no, they should beat the Bengals in Washington. Their roster is better. I know it's not that easy always to say.
Yeah.
But after that, it gets a little tough. I mean, you got to go at Dallas Cowboys, Indianapolis Colts, Pittsburgh Steelers. So, hey, this will be a big year for the Cleveland Browns. They're going to see if they're battle-tested and tough to win some of these football games. But I'm going to bet on yes, I am.
They got a new defensive coordinator, Joe Woods, coming over from San Francisco with your boy Kyle. You know anything about him?
I do. I was Joe in Tampa back in the days. Yeah, I know all about Joe. That's why I didn't get there to that, but that's what I mean. I think that his scheme, I think, is going to fit their defense better than what they've run the last few years, too. I think they got a team that's, I don't want to say it's San Francisco, but it's built that way. Some long corners, Carl Joseph, fast safety. Oh, wait, and a front four that we can just send after people all day long. I mean, I'm kind of excited about that aspect of them.
So you're going to go over, I'm going to go under, just because I feel like you can never lose money going the under on the Cleveland Browns. But
how far under you think you're going there?
Not that far.
I know.
I think 6-10, what they were last year. I mean, but that does kind of seem like worst case scenario last year, right?
I think so.
Because we were talking about them last year being a potential playoff team. So 6-10 almost was worst case, and so that might be worst case this year again. So I don't know. That's a tough one, but I'll go under.
All right.
Just so we can disagree.
All right, fine.
I got a prop bet on that one.
Yeah.
Odell receiving yards or Nick Chubb rushing yards. Who has more? So Chubb had 1,400 rushing yards last year. Odell has had around 1,400 his first 3 years in New York. Last year was just over 1,000.
Right. They got Kareem Hunt too as a runner. Which I would think he's going to get more carries and more work this year. I'm going to go with Odell this year.
Okay, so you think Odell will get a little bit of a bump from what he had last year?
I do.
And Chubb will come down.
I think Chubb will come down, and not because it'll be any less, but I think what's the point of having two running backs why wear one into the ground? That's what I don't understand. Share the workload a little bit, and then when you get done here, you're going to be able to assess a year or two from now and go, okay, which one has a longer shelf life left? Oh, it's Nick Chubb. Okay, see you, Kareem Hunt. We can't pay you. We're going to pay Nick Chubb a little bit more money to be our running back for the next few years, and we didn't kill him.
Right.
Because we shared some carries that way. But, yeah, I mean, gosh.
You like him. That's
I do.
All right.
I do. I like him. I mean, there's things to be excited about. Like we said, that O-line, the two tight ends they got more size at deep tackle, so we'll see. It's
like in fantasy football, that post-hype sleeper that you hear about sometimes where one year everyone's about him, like, he's going to be great, and then they fail, and then everyone's like, they screwed me, and so they forget about him. And it kind of feels like the Cleveland Browns might be like that.
I feel like a little bit like last year was overhyped. Now this year everybody's totally forgot about them, and I think they're pissed and have an edge about them. And I always think a new coaching staff with a concise plan is worth a few wins, and I do feel that way. As much as I don't love Stefanski's offense, I do think it's actually a good fit for this football team. So, Pete, keep track of all the teams I stay over and under for, right?
He's keeping them in the rundown right here.
All right, because I don't want to get done and you're like, you picked 16 overs.
I think you're pretty, you have 4 overs and 3 unders, so you're doing well.
All right, good.
This one's going to be interesting, though. Final team in the AFC North. The Bengals, 2-14 last year.
What is it set at?
5.5.
Oof.
See, 5 wins normally, or 5 wins shouldn't be that hard to get to in the NFL, right? Even bad teams get a couple turnovers here and there. Bad teams should win 5 games. Offense could be fun.
Offense could be a lot of fun. It really can be. Defense is the question.
Defense could be fun for other teams.
That's the thing. Yeah. You look at Cincinnati, and as I pull up their team here and just look at everything about them, okay, first off, on the defensive side of the ball, hey, got some additions. Trey Wayne's out for the year. Mackenzie Alexander, that's good. Von Bell at safety. Got DJ Reader to help out. My big thing though is is there enough difference makers on the defensive side of the ball? That's to where I just don't know. Plus, Yeah, I'm not like sitting here going, oh, the scheme's special, so they'll be able to figure it out. I think this. I'm going to go under. I think it's going to be a really exciting 5-11 football team. And again, I'm saying 5. Would I be shocked if they went 6-10? No. Would I be shocked if they went 7-9? Yeah, I'd be starting to get in the shock zone.
Especially in that division.
Yeah, don't think they're there yet. I think they're going to be a lot of like, wow, that was a great game between Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, and Joe Burrow just came up short. That was a great game by Joe Burrow and Baker Mayfield. Joe Burrow just came up short. It was a great game against Ben Roethlisberger. They just came up short. It was fun. A.J. Green bombs and Joe Mixon runs. But, ultimately.
35-28. It was a great game.
I think you could see some of that, definitely.
Because their receiving core, we've talked about it before, is one of the deepest in the NFL.
Right?
A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, John Ross, T. Higgins, who you liked in the draft.
Yeah.
So, that's
pretty strong.
That's going to be a fun offense to watch.
Erickson, right? They got him at receiver there, too. Number 19, is Erickson in there? He's still in there, right? Is that there? You're not looking at the depth chart?
I'm not at the depth chart.
Oh, okay,
fine.
Sorry. Don't look.
I've got like 2 screens up right here that are.
Yeah, Erickson
is
there, yeah.
I
Good.
just checked it.
Good, cool.
Checked it. All right, so you're going
under.
I'll go under as well.
Okay.
I'll go under as well, just because they haven't done the rebrand yet.
I was going to bring that up. I'm glad you did it. They went rebrand.
This will be the final season that will convince them to get rid of the stripes.
There's no way. It's not happening.
I think if it goes south, if it starts to taint Joe Burrow, they'll consider it.
I was at the Combine and interviewed Zach Taylor and brought this up, okay? And there was a member of the Brown family there.
Okay.
Going around that day with Zach Taylor, and I was shot down in a hurry after that.
Immediately
interview.
They were.
No way that's happening. Our helmet's very special to us. So I was led to believe that was not going to happen.
So maybe they need a decade more of losing
to
get to that point. All right, cool. So 2 divisions down, 2 to go here. We got the AFC South, and this one seems like a very even division, except for one team, the Jaguars. Got Texans, Titans, Colts. Don't know who's going to walk away with it. But last year it was the Texans. They were 10-6. They lost DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
And they're over/under pretty low. I'm surprised.
Yeah, how low?
7.5.
Ooh.
So 7.5 for a team that won 10 games last year and still has Deshaun Watson.
Hey, I'm not saying playoffs for this team. I'm not saying that. I don't know that yet, but I'm going to go over 7.5. I am.
You think the offense will be better than it was last year?
I do. I'm going to stand by that. I do. I think it's going to be a fun, exciting offense. I think they've gotten it figured out. Yeah, I like the receiving group. The O-line, I like what they got there. And then, of course, running back, we'll see. We'll see what David Johnson's got in the tank and all that. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun to watch here. The big thing is going to be their defense.
Does it come down to the health of J.J. Watt? I mean, it's really that. Because I was looking at his games played last 4 years. You go back 4 years ago, he had 3, then 5, then 16, and then 8 last year.
And that year he had 16. He had a good year, right? It was like 16 sacks that year, 16 and a half, something like that.
He's on the field. He's really good. But last year's defense was tied with the Bengals for the worst in yards given up per play.
That's the question. And I know they gave Zach Cunningham a ton of money yesterday, linebacker. That's awesome. He's one of those linebackers he deserves to be paid like that. He's a guy that stays on the field all 3 downs and can do anything, can cover. He's one of the better cover linebackers in football. That's why they paid him that money. So you got that. But yeah, the defense is an issue. J.J. Watt getting hurt would be a big blow to their football team. Tell me, who's a difference maker up front? They lost DJ Reader. Yeah. Clowney's been gone. We've talked about the other pass rusher they have from Philadelphia. Holy cow.
Hold on, I'm pulling up the teams.
Yep, I'm pulling up the teams. It's killing me here. Whitney Merciless. Thank you, Pete. Yes. Whitney Merciless. Okay, so him being there, and he's not the same player he was a few years ago. So that's what I do worry about. So 7.5. That's where it's
Ross
at.
Blaylock on.
Liked him a lot.
You did like him in the draft. They got him in the second round.
He's a disruptor. Yeah. There's no doubt.
But 7.5. Yeah, for a team that won 10 games last year.
I'm going to go over. I think it's. Again, I don't know if they could go 8-8, 9-7, and miss out on the playoffs. I'm not sure if I'm ready to put it in the playoffs yet. I think what I'm saying is the worst I could see it doing is 7-9.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bet that Deshaun wins that one extra game because he's Deshaun freaking Watson, and he'll figure it out.
I'm with you.
It's tough.
I think this is kind of like the Browns, where the hate has gone too far. It was like they've talked about for the last 2 years how Bill O'Brien is a bad GM, but the window is clearly now. They want to win now.
Yes.
And so they've put everything to winning now. And
it's just going to all be about all that offense.
Yeah.
And we're going to see an offense unleashed. That's why week 1 could be a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, them versus the Chiefs, they might actually – the Chiefs might score 51 again like they did in the playoffs, but this time the Texans might score 48. I think they could have a really fun offense to watch.
All right. What about the Tennessee Titans? They had a fun offense to watch down the stretch last year because if you like the running game, went 5-2 down the stretch. They finished the year 9-7. They went 5-2 down the stretch with 188 yards rushing per game. Compare that to their first 7 games. They went 3-4, rushing 102 yards per game. So they turned it on. Playoffs, they beat New England, beat Baltimore, lost to Kansas City in a shootout in a game where they had the lead early. So they really finished strong,
yes,
right?
They
had all the momentum at the end of the year. 9 wins last year. It is 8.5 is the over-under.
Wow.
8.5.
Yeah, see, this was a division where I could see – they're going to beat each other up a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't expect them to be a 12-4 an 11-5 type football team. I don't. But wow.
So here, their offense, with Ryan Tannehill here this year, so their offense last year was 12th in yards per game, but 4th in yards per play.
Yeah.
They were 1st in yards per passing play. They just didn't run as many plays as other teams.
No, they did not.
There.
But
so they were efficient. They were super efficient.
Right, that's what we talked about a lot last year, if you remember. He didn't leave any yards on the field.
Yep.
If a guy was open by 3 inches, 60 yards down the field, he threw the ball within that 3-inch window, and they capitalized on it.
They had the best red zone defense or offense in the NFL last year.
Wow.
Scored touchdowns 75% of the time, ahead of Baltimore, who was second.
I'm a little torn with them. I really am. But I think ultimately I got to go over here. I do.
Yeah, I do too. I think so.
I do. It's just is the offensive line going to be as good as last year? No, probably not with Jack Conklin being gone.
Right.
I know they
still
drafted
Luan and Saffold and
still a lot of good.
Ben
right.
Jones.
Yeah, that's a lot of damn good. The right tackle position is just going to be a new guy over there, and we'll be the rookie from
Wilson?
Georgia.
Isaiah
I don't know if
Wilson.
it'll be him or not. But yes, the running game, the receiver, they got a good under the radar tight end.
Defense is a question a little bit, right?
Defense is a question in the fact of
Vic Beasley, but he's not there.
Pass rushers. That's the thing. That's their biggest issue. That's what I worry about with them. They can't even formulate a pass rush with 4 people. It's horrible. Mm-hmm. And at times it makes them have to do things on the defensive side of the ball I think that they don't want to do because they have to blitz and do things like that just to create some pressure. So, I think that I look at that, and Vic Beasley's a big question mark. I don't even know where we stand with this right now.
Yeah, he wasn't there, and then he was hurt, and then
he's there, and I think there's still a sense that he might leave, that he's got other things on his radar in life that are concerned, that I've been told. I'm not going to say what they are publicly, but I've been heard he's thinking about doing something else in life. So that'll be interesting to see where that goes. Now, the other thing with them, which I think gives me the final nudge to say I'm giving it the over. And again, it's 8.5, right?
Yep.
Just the division's too good to where I could see this being a little it's a lot of 10-6, 9-7 with those top 3 teams. But Broncos, Jaguars, Vikings early on, that's favorable for them. I do.
Yeah.
They got a chance to start out 2-3-0. Yeah, 2 or 3-0 for sure.
So here's a prop for you.
Yeah.
Ryan Tannehill last year in his 10 starts had 260 yards per game. Does he go over or under that this year? Do they throw more with Ryan Tannehill than they did last year?
I do believe they will. Yes. I think they will throw more with Ryan Tannehill. And I just think, again, I don't know if the offensive line will be as dominant. I think with him being in year 2 in the system, not coming in to take over from Mariota in week 6 or whatever it was, right? That'll give them the confidence to open up the attack a little bit more in the pass game.
And I'm excited what he can do with A.J. Brown, too. I think that combination
is
one of the more exciting combinations in all of football, I feel like.
It is. To me, that'll be I'm glad you brought it up. To me, is the big question is just who's going to be that next guy in the passing offense that shows up?
It was supposed to be Adam Humphries, right? What
Adam
happened there?
Humphries, right? They didn't find that. No, they just never found the niche. And I believe he was banged up a little early in the year last year, too. Corey Davis, who's a top, 5 pick, he's never lived up to that billing. Jonnu Smith is the guy I look at to be watch out for him this year.
Really?
Yeah. It's an offense that I think fits what a good tight end can take advantage of. And Jonnu Smith is like a Delaney Walker. Can block, but I think can be like really scary with the ball and make some things happen there.
Okay, so I'm starting to get worried here, though.
Yeah.
Because you go over Texans, you go over
I don't
Titans.
feel so bad, though, because some of these overs are like,
lower.
7.5, 8 wins.
True.
You know what I mean? So it's not like I'm picking like the teams to go like 12-4. Every team's 12-4 and 10-6.
But I know you like the Colts, though.
I do.
And so the Colts last year were 7-9.
Yep.
But now they got Phillip Rivers.
Right.
Got a great offensive line.
Yep.
Got Michael Pittman in the draft, the wide receiver. You like him. You like Jonathan Taylor, running back. So they got weapons.
They do. Potential of weapons.
Defense, you got DeForest Buckner.
Yeah.
That helps in the front there. Xavier Rhodes from the Vikings. Okay, so they won 7 last year. The over-under this year, a little high, 9.5.
Woo!
I knew this was going to give you trouble.
I'm going over, though. The Colts are I'm picking the Colts to go to the playoffs, just so you know. All right, so let's just get that out of the way in case you wanted to know next week. They're going in the playoffs for me.
If you're going to listen next week, forget that Chris said that. It'll ruin the surprise. Okay. So you think that this is Phillip Rivers goes in there and improves him enough to where
Yes, I do.
Defense is improved enough.
Yep, hopefully.
I liked him last year.
Running
too.
backs, T.Y. Hilton. Hopefully Paris Campbell can stay healthy and show he was worth that second-round pick. I'm extremely excited about him. Michael Pittman Jr., I know he's a beast and tough. Other receivers on their roster who are also very good. There's really, on offense, I have no question. Defense, I only question the secondary. Okay. All right? That's the only area I look at. I think they're going to, great linebacking duo and Darius Leonard and Walker. D-line is deep and versatile as hell. Yeah, corner, secondary, that's a little scary. That's a different conversation. Other than Moore, they don't really have a really quality corner, in my opinion. And the safety play is a little average, too. Now, the thing that makes me feel like somewhat good about it, all right, is their schedule. They're not playing the most high-octane passing attacks early in the year. When you get to start off with the Bears, the Jets, the Vikings, and the Jaguars, I mean, the Vikings are the most high-octane passing attack out of that group right there, and they're not high-octane. So
that's a good early schedule.
Right, it's a very good early schedule.
At Browns, Bengals, man, at Lions,
Wow. So I don't know.
That's a great
I look at their
schedule.
matchups, and when I first looked at this and just went, ooh, they fit their team. They're not necessarily teams early on in the schedule that I think are going to be able to take advantage of some of the weaknesses that the Colts do have.
Pete saying if you go by the Vegas win totals, Colts have by far the easiest early schedule.
I've heard that, right? Which that helps when you're a new team.
So you're
kind of getting used to it. So, Dan, did I go over on everybody in the AFC South except for the Jaguars, right?
Yeah. So I'll go over as well. We're agreeing a lot here, but you're making a good point because Texans was 7.5.
I know.
And then Titans was 8.5. You're like, I think they're going to be, and then Colts 9.5, but we like them. We can see 10 wins easily. And even if, I've brought this up for a couple of teams, the downside risk, right? And if you lose Phillip Rivers, if he gets hurt or tests positive or whatever, you got Jacoby Brissett there.
No doubt.
And he's capable as a backup and can hand the ball off. And so I'll go over as well, which means we have to go under on the Jaguars, right? So Jaguars last year, 6-10. They are getting rid of everybody. We talked about them at length at the top of the pod. 4.5 is the over-under.
See, that's where it's not fair. Because I could go, they're going to be 5-11.
Yeah, and just do another. Well, you can do that if you think they can win 5. I mean, but they have, defense. They've ripped it apart. Although they signed Joe Schobert, 5 years, $53 million. They go be our defense. We're going to give you that much money because you are the only guy out there.
Him and Miles Jack will be a great combo at linebacker.
It's like Hoosiers, right? My team is on the field. It's like those two guys. That'll just be it.
Those two guys, the 2 pass rushers, and Henderson at corner. That's it. But there's some young talent to be really excited about.
Okay.
I do.
Do you have to say that, or do you feel that's true?
No, I really do. I mean, Caleb on Chason, I love him.
Like him.
I love
yes.
C.J. Henderson, who they
like
drafted.
Yep.
I thought C.J. Henderson was more talented than Jeff Okudah, who, I know is limited in practice, but like they still haven't said he's going to be a starter there yet. So I just want to be like, well, there's a problem there. Number 3 picks. If they're not starting right now, then I don't know. You might have messed up the number 3 pick. I'm going to go under. I am. I could see them being 5-11. But 4-12 is where I see them at. I do. I'm not sold. There's just too many things I don't know about. Offensive line, there's a little potential. There's a little potential for Gardner Minshew. They got receivers that kind of scare me, but I don't know how good Gardner Minshew is yet. The running back situation, we'll see where that goes. I would expect Raquel Thompson to take over for Leonard Fournette here as we do that. Defensively, the defensive line is going to be a pain in the ass and things like that. I just don't know if there's enough to go around there.
Who do you think is going to take over for Fournette? Chris Thompson?
I was going to say Raquel Thompson. I think Chris Thompson will be like Armstead, excuse me. Yeah.
I was like,
Chris
you
Thompson
cheated.
Too.
I was like, you made him one man.
Well, you know how I like to add 2 things together there.
I was like, you cannot be wrong there. You put them both in there.
But I liked Raquel Armstead coming out in the draft a whole lot. And, Chris Thompson's an unbelievable third down, change of pace type back. So, I guess that's about where the defensive line really good, front 7 pretty damn good, but secondary is underwhelming to me.
Problem.
Yeah.
So I'll go under as well, because if a team wants to lose, let them, and don't argue with them. And so I think that's ultimately, and not that they want to lose, but they don't see any upside in.
I guess
who knows if there's a valuable piece that
Trevor Lawrence
the year,
at quarterback. Maybe they want him.
Right?
That's what a lot of people think is going on here.
But I don't think they're done trading players either. Like I think
Probably
if there's a useful player that pops up who another team wants, you'd entertain that offer. Why wouldn't you at this point?
Well, I get that totally. They're running out of players to trade here, but
sure.
but regardless, they're a team that's in rebuild mode.
Yeah,
and I like some of those young guys, but they're not ready for prime time yet.
Final division. So that was tough.
That was
a tough one. This one I think might be. I think this one's going to be difficult too, actually.
Oh, it is.
So we got Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders, and Chargers in the AFC West. We'll start with the Chiefs, 12-4 last year. Basically kept the whole team together, locked them up long term for a lot of their guys: Chris Jones, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. Got Matthew on the defensive side, signed through 2021. So this is a team that is built for next year, the year after that. They got stability. 12 wins last year. They are over under 11.5.
Whoa, 11.5. I'm going over. I am. Yeah. You've heard me. I just think this is going to be like the pressure's off, and you're just going to see the Kansas City Chiefs swag and. Like, they're going to relish this.
But sometimes if you don't have that urgency, you go, and then
that's
you end
what
up
my
making
dad
some
argues.
stupid mistakes.
If you listen to my dad, he would argue,
what he says.
what's motivating them this year? Well, I don't know. Sometimes great players, they don't always need motivation.
Yeah.
I mean, Tom Brady didn't need to be motivated for the last 19 years. I get it.
What might motivate him more is that you only get one bye in the playoffs now.
Certainly.
So you have to have that best record.
I don't think there's any more question anymore of can we win? Can we win with a young quarterback? It's all got Andy Reid. Can he win a Super Bowl? It's all over. It's all going to be like, just show your ass this year. Hey, we're really good. We got confidence. Let's be tough. And then, when you I think the thing is Clyde Edwards-Helaire going to make them better.
Yeah.
McCole Hardman's going to be better this year, okay? They got the kid Willie Gay Jr. from Mississippi State at linebacker. He adds another dimension to their defense. But don't forget about this, too. Like, during the Super Bowl run, Juan Thornhill, their starting safety, he got hurt. He missed the playoff run. He'll be back. That's great. Breeland Speaks, a second-round pick from 3 years ago. He didn't play much last year. So, Okafor on the defensive side of the ball, defense and linebacker type. He was hurt last year. So I think they have other guys, too, where I look at it and go, wait, they went to the Super Bowl and had some, pretty valuable pieces get hurt last year that are, almost like free agent signings this year. There you go, whoa, they're back in the mix. So I just, when I look at it like that, Yeah.
Tough schedule, like we mentioned with Baltimore. You finished with such a great record last year. You're going to get nailed the next year. They got Houston week 1, at Baltimore week 3, New England week 4, at Buffalo week 6, at Tampa week 12, at New Orleans week 15. So there are some.
The first 4 weeks or the first 5, 6, they're legit.
First game is against the Texans on
Sunday Night Football on NBC.
Right. We have to say that.
Well, I also think, listen, that's a tough schedule.
I'll go over 2.
You're going to go over?
I'll go.
You feel like they're going to ride the wave?
I think so. 11.5 doesn't, 12 wins doesn't seem
crazy.
I would be shocked if they were 10-6, right?
That's how I look at it.
10-6 and you're shocked, then it seems like to get a couple more
wins. We didn't think they were
wins.
that great in the regular season last year, and they went 12-4, right? It wasn't
they didn't have Mahomes for 2.5 games, right?
Yeah. It wasn't a year that jumped out to us where we were like, oh, man, whoa, they were. Right. 2 years ago, the regular season jumped out more than last year. So I'm with you. And I think a very underrated aspect of the Kansas City Chiefs, because I've watched the Super Bowl from last year.
Multiple times. Every time we meet, I was watching the Super Bowl again.
It's hard for me to not watch those things. And then the playoff run, I watched it all again. The one thing I always walk away from Kansas City games going, we don't give them enough credit for this, is their physicality. Because we look at them as this passing, throw it around, all that. But their defense and offensive line are physical. They throw their body around. They match the 49ers' physicality in the last quarter of that Super Bowl. Nobody really did that all year to the 49ers. Wow. So there's a lot to like, I guess.
Prop bet for you. Their offense scored 28.2 points per game last year. That was 5th in the NFL. They were behind Baltimore, San Francisco, New Orleans, Tampa Bay. Over/under, will they have 30 points per game? They were 28.2 last year. Will that offense take a step forward? So they will.
Yeah.
So Baltimore was the only team last year to have over 30 points per game. You think Kansas City will be that team?
I do. Yeah. I think with of course we know health and all that, but like I said, with Mecole Hardman and Edwards-Helaire, I think Hardman takes that next step. Let's see if Sammy Watkins can stay freaking healthy. Yeah. But between that, yes, I think this is going to be next level shit this year.
So the 3 teams behind them in the division are all 3 teams that you got things to like about all 3 of them. And I think you could argue all 3 of them could be a playoff team if everything breaks right for them. We'll start with the Broncos, who were 7-9 last year. They got second year now. Drew Lock, hoping he's the real deal. Got a receiver in Cortland Sutton you really like. Jerry Jeudy they got in the draft. KJ Hamler, a receiver. It's got wheels. You like him. Noah Fant. They got some weapons on offense.
Yeah.
And you got a defense anchored by Von Miller, Justin Simmons. Jarrell Casey comes over now. Bradley Chubb. So you got stars on defense.
Yeah.
7-9 last year. Over/under is 7.5.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
What if I go over/under is 1.1? And then you're like, okay. Oh, yeah, that's easy. I'm going to go first.
Go.
Over.
Please do.
I like the Broncos a lot.
I do too.
I'm over. I'm over on them.
I like the Broncos a whole lot too. I think the only thing I worry about with the Broncos at all is just a little bit of maybe that Cleveland Browns effect from last year, where it's just everybody's talking, we're supposed to be great.
That's true.
We're great. We got these receivers now, and all of a sudden we're in the great category.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the only area in which I look at them and just go, ugh.
How's the offensive line protecting Drew Lock?
Yeah.
They did get Graham Glasgow.
Right. Good signing.
That helps.
Yeah.
But do they he'll need time.
Yeah. They need the left tackle, but he's still got to improve. They lost Jawan James with COVID-19 opt-out. So that's a big question mark. And, yeah, they got Melvin Gordon on the running back position now and all that. And they got one of the best O-line coaches in the game. So, I'm really on the fence with this team. I am, because I expect them to be better, no doubt. I could see them being 8-8 or even 9-7 and maybe just making it as a 7th seed or just missing out or something like that. Ooh.
Wow. This one's physically paining you.
It is. It's really a tough one there.
This is tough.
Because I'm also trying to balance schedules in my head here a little bit and be like, does that make sense that if I have that many over and that many under?
Well, I'll say that last year they had the best red zone defense in the NFL. They gave up touchdowns only 39% of the time. You may see that as a positive. You also might see that as a negative, as if that's not repeatable coming into this year. They'll probably regress to the mean.
I know, but Bradley Chubb's going to be
back. It's a good defense. I know. It's a good defense. Let me
I'm going to go over. I'm going to go over.
1,
going
2,
over.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 overs so far, and 9 overs now, and you have 1, 2,
4 or 5.
5 on.
Okay.
5 unders.
All right.
You're getting close. So the Raiders are going to have to go under here. So you go over on the Broncos. I did too. We got Raiders. So they were just like the Broncos. Were 7-9 last year. This is a put up or shut up year for Chris Simms on Derek Carr. Because you are pumping him up. You're thinking he has more to give. We'll see if he can prove you right this year. Offensively, a lot to like again. Offensive line, we've liked them. Rodney Hudson, Trent Brown, you like them. Weapons with Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, tight end. Henry Ruggs flies.
Yeah.
Bryan Edwards, great receiver out of the draft too. The question is defense for them. They signed 13 players in free agency. So they had 7 wins last year. Over-under is 7.5 this year.
Jeez. 7.5 again, huh? I mean, it's just, I feel like every damn one is 7.5, 7.5, 7.5.
For all the teams that are like 8-8 teams, it seems like, 7.5.
Yeah, well, it's another like fringe football team here, right? I think my big thing will be this. I'm going to go under. You know, I am. I'm excited about them. I love Josh Jacobs, the O-line special. I'm rooting for Derek Carr in so many ways. I really am. I think my big thing with them would still be the defense, and that's why I can't do it. I just don't know if there's enough special there quite yet.
So last year they were hard to run on.
Yes.
But they were terrible against the pass.
Right.
And they had the worst interception rate in the NFL last year, and which has been a weird problem for them for a long time now.
Yeah.
It's like for whatever reason, the defense is just it's not only not been good, it's hurt them. It's really hurt them, and it's been, I think, the main reason why they've gone through this prolonged struggle since they made the playoffs.
I think it's fair. I mean, the big thing is, they can't get a guy that's going to pass rush and create the quarterback to throw the ball too fast, other than Crosby, right? I mean, they were one of those teams I told you about that sounded like they were in the conversation for Yannick Ngakoue for a little bit.
Sure.
Because they realized they need another pass rusher, another difference maker. And then you look at corner, like, okay, yeah, I like Trayvon Mullen when he came out of Clemson, certainly. But, again, I think safety, the secondary itself, Prince Amukamara, okay, I like him, but I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, that's a difference maker. Jonathan Abram coming back from his injury, that's good. Demarius Randall's had a very up and down career. And I guess that's what I look at. When I look at their defense, they've improved it. I just don't think there's difference makers there. I don't. And I think that's ultimately kind of what scares me about them altogether. And pain in the butt for a lot of teams, but I'm going to go under.
I'll go under as well.
Yeah.
Which means that we've agreed now for, I think, the last 8 picks.
The last 8 picks?
Or 9.
Yeah.
That's super boring. That's bad. But how can you? I mean, it's just like, tough division for, you got to pick one of these teams that you don't think is going to be able to pull through. I mean, maybe they will. John Gruden can figure something out on offense, make them that dynamic, and put themselves in favorable situations where they have a lead, and then you just got to try to bend but don't break. And so there are ways that it could happen, but I'm going to go under as well. Final team in the AFC, and it is the Chargers, who were 5-11 last year, although they've been boosted by Ahmed Fareed giving them a top 5 roster in the NFL. So that gives them some confidence.
Yep.
So automatically, since I have done that, I have to go over no matter what the number is. And the number is 7.5, and I will go over. But they were 5-11 last year. It really fell apart last year. And it's weird with the talent they have. Joey Bosa. And you got to, it's just Melvin Ingram. And then you figure, how did that Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler on the offensive side with Phillip Rivers, veteran quarterback. The offensive line has been an issue for a while, and so that hurt them. Might still be an issue.
Yeah, we got Bulaga. They traded for Trey Turner, so hopefully that can help. They need one of these other guys that was part of the rotation at tackle last year to kind of come through for them as a football team. The defense, we're going to be without Derwin James, it looks like, for the first part of the year there. But still, there's so much special throughout the defense.
Desmond King, Chris Harris, Casey Hayward Jr.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty damn group, right? Rayshon Jenkins, he placed them. And Nasir Adderley was a second-round pick for them 2 drafts ago at safety. He's a true free safety. So I think he'll be in the mix there this year.
So they have talent.
Yeah.
But they have Tyrod as their quarterback.
Right. Have Tyrod as their quarterback, which means to me it's going to be a more conservative offensive approach, let alone, what do we have there? Mike Williams, he's banged up right now too, right, Pete? And Pete, how long do they expect Mike Williams to be out? So those are things that I look at. Now, their schedule early in the year, it's kind of like I don't look at it either way and feel like, all right, we know the Chiefs are better. All right, but hey, the Panthers, the Bengals.
Bengals are better, yeah.
The Buccaneers. Yeah, okay. I'm not ready to just anoint the Buccaneers better than the Chargers yet. I understand the potential there and all that.
Sure.
But there's some easy wins there to be had for them. The Jets, the Dolphins. I mean, these are teams that, you could certainly sit here and go, no, they're more talented than them. I'm gonna. It's 7.5 again, right?
7.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over. I am.
Okay. You believe in them.
Yeah.
You believe they can.
I don't know if I believe it's a playoff, definite playoff team, but I look at them to be that team where they're in the playoff conversation. Yeah, I do. 2 weeks left, and they might have to win the last 2 games of the year.
Yep. Pete noted that they were 6.5 over/under before I came out with my top 5 rosters podcast. And once I said that,
you
bumped them
things.
up a win. I swayed Vegas right there. Just one stat I looked up on the Chargers when I was doing my research on them. They blitzed on just 13% of plays last year, lowest in the league, but had the 5th highest hurries per dropback. So it's a Bosa, and they got to the quarterback without having to blitz last year. I just
Linval Joseph's there.
Linval Joseph,
Don't forget Jerry Tillery was their first-round pick from 2 years ago. He's going to be in second year now at Notre Dame, right? So they really got a chance to be a 49er-ish, and it's the same scheme. And Gus Bradley was with me in Tampa and played in Seattle, to where that's what they're building there. So what did I end up with? 10 overs and 6 unders?
You don't make me go back. It was about that's right. Pete says that's right. We disagreed on only 4 teams: Patriots, Dolphins, Ravens, and Browns. That's a bummer. Okay, Pete wants to finish it off. Our 3 best bets. So, if you were to make, or if you just have a couple, who are you most confident about from what we just did?
Just the over-under aspect of it.
Do you want to look? Do you want to look at?
Just let me look at the over-unders again, just to look where we're at here. Okay, I am most confident about. I think right off the bat is. I would probably say the Bills would be my first pick. 8.5 to me is just too low. 8.5 in a division where I'd go. They're the most talented team in the division, and the team that they're battling that out with is going through a quarterback and a severe roster change, and I go, they're definitely better than the Jets and the Dolphins. So, the Bills would be the first one I look at to go, that's too low. I like the Bills.
For your reasoning there, I'm going to go Patriots under 9.5 as one of my best bets.
You are. You think it's okay. So you're going the old 9. If they get in the playoffs, they're going to win. They're going to be 9-7 or 8-8.
I think so. Thing. Yeah, I can see it falling apart.
Okay, and then I think after that, the one I probably look at more. Yeah, the Texans is interesting. I think I feel most confident, though, and I'm sorry to be stalling here more than anything.
You want to be right.
No,
so take as much time as you need.
I'm going to go with the Texans. I think 7.5 is too low. I feel very good to go. No.
8 wins for them.
Yeah, you can say all you want about Billy O'Brien, the GM. What I like about the Texans is, first of all, his teams are always tough and physical, all right? And I do think that Deshaun Watson and that offense are going to be dangerous as hell. And I just have a hard time thinking, maybe they go 7-9, but I really think that the floor is 8-8 for that football team.
So those are your 2 best bets.
I think so. Yep.
Okay.
Did I go over or under with the Jets? I went under with the Jets, right? Yes.
I'll have to go back and listen to the podcast.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at if any of them I look at as I want to a do-over or anything like that. But no, I think mine made sense. The more I look at it.
I'd go Broncos for me. 7-9 last year. They're over under 7.5. I feel like they can take a step forward.
Yeah, go at least 8-8 or something. Yeah, I hear you. That was one of the teams I looked at too. The Chargers were the other team I looked at.
Sure. All right, that's a good exercise.
Yeah, okay, good one. We got NFC on Thursday?
We got the NFC coming up on Thursday.
And like anybody out there listening to the show, if there's something else you want to hear more about these breakdowns, and like again, don't forget that we're going to be doing, the playoffs next week. So I'll do more in-depth stuff as far as why I think teams will make the playoffs and things like that. But if anybody wants to hear anything, just where to find us.
Yep. And coming up next, not in this pod.
Not in this
We're
pod.
going to stop
video.
down. We're going to clap. And then we're going to walk. You're going to walk over to the whiteboard.
Right.
And you're going to diagram up what the Patriots will do differently this year with Cam Newton.
Going to just show some things of what Cam Newton will bring to that offense and just how simple you could take one play with Cam Newton, and I can show you how it can grow into a full-blown, basically, attack just from that one play to where you go, whoa, okay, that's a lot to worry about with one play, off of one play with one guy at quarterback. And that's what, these are things that I think the Patriots are going to have to balance out, and what I'm excited about to watch Cam Newton there this year.
Take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
And then we'll do that again.
Sounds good, boss.
But in the meantime, we'll
clap it
up. Clap it up.
That's it.
See you Thursday, everyone.
Woo, 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 woo. We'll be back on Thursday. Big Phil may or may not be back in the fold. He should be. Ooh. And then we'll do the NFC win over under.
Will he do some of that thing?
I think he'll jump
bring him right in and do that?
He'll jump in that.
Okay.
And like I said, that's the one thing that he said that to me last week, and it's the one thing when I went over these rosters a little last night and today, you're like, holy crap, there's a lot of good teams this year. It just seems like that. And we have no clue thanks to no preseason football. So that's great. Guys like me can be as wrong as ever this year.
These are just suggestions. Do not take your hard-earned money and bet on any of this.
All right. Peace out, everybody. Be good. Ahmed Fareed, Chris Simms. You the man, Ahmed. Peace.